the dribble. Pierce to the basket. Yes! Paul Pierce at the buzzer.
Yes!
And the Celtics beat the Heat.
Outstanding.
Kevin Garnett, Antoine Walker, Baron Davis, Dirk Nowitzki, Shane Battier, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, Paul Pierce. These are just some of the many stars we'll be showcasing today. Hello, I'm Neil Everett, and welcome to our Before They Were Pros marathon. A chance for you to see some current NBA stars back in the day. Here's the lineup we've got set to tip off the 1998 Nike World Hoop Summit featuring Nowitzki, Quentin Richardson, Al Harrington, and Rashard Lewis. Then at 2 o'clock Eastern, see the likes of Walker, Felipe Lopez, and Maurice Taylor mix it up in the 1994 Magic Johnson Roundball Classic. At 4, it's the 1997 Sprite Slam Dunk and Three-Point Contest featuring Baron Davis, Shane Battier, and Ron Artest. And last but not least, it's the 1995 Magic Johnson Roundball Classic with Kevin Garnett, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, and Paul Pierce. First, the 98 Nike World Hoop Summit, which pitted America's top high school seniors against the world's best 20 and under players. Ahead in the game, we'll put the spotlight on some of these future stars. The Hoop Junkies rejoice. It's our 7-hour Before They Were Pros marathon right here on ESPN Classic.
USA versus the world, the Alamo Stadium Arena. The ceremonial exchanging of the flags, good sportsmanship, goodwill, but a game both teams passionately want to win. Athens, Greece, Africa, Lithuania, Australia, and of course the USA teams from everywhere. Hello, everybody. I'm Dave Feldman. Welcome to the 4th annual Nike Hoop Summit, and we've got a great game. The best high school seniors in the United States taking on the best 20 and under team from the world. And it's a game both teams want to win. It's always been competitive. The last 3 times, close games, the USA won 2 of the 3. It's about national pride. Both teams told me there might be dunks. There might even be some fanciness, but guess what? There'll be hard D, and there'll be a lot of intensity. And guess what? It's an international game. We might have some international flavor with our announcers, Dan Schulman and Quinn Buckner, the guys calling the game. Dan?
Dave, thank you very much, although no Canadian players on the floor today. Well, let's tell you a little bit about some of the real all-stars in this game. Al Harrington, thought by many to be the best high school player in the country.
Yeah, Al Harrington is a solid player. 6'9", he's got great versatility, ability to get to the basket. You can see Parade Co-Player of the Year. He is a guy that everyone is starting to like. Learn to play the game from the inside out. 13 rebounds, very impressive.
Still waiting to decide what college he's going to go to. We'll tell you about that. Without question, the best two-sport athlete on the floor, Ronald Curry, football and basketball, going to Carolina. Tell us about basketball.
Well, the basketball side is a pretty good player. I mean, you're looking at one of the top point guards in all of basketball from the high school level. But he's going to Carolina on a football scholarship, so you know that he's very talented. He finds people in the open court. Very, very good player and can knock down the shot.
The USA team is coached by Don Showalter from Mid-Prairie High School in Wellman, Iowa. His first assignment for USA basketball. And a look at the starting lineup that the United States is going to send out there. Jason Capel from Frederick, Maryland, headed to North Carolina. His dad, the coach at ODU, and his brother went to Duke, and he's going to go to Carolina, one of the best young players in the country. The world team, one of the highlighted players for them, Dirk Nowitzki, a 6'11" star from Germany, who many feel plays favorably to Detlef Schrempf at this age. We'll keep an eye on Dirk Nowitzki for you. Among the international stars, their head coach is Sandro Gamba from Italy, who has coached all 4 world teams at the Nike Hoop Summit.
Now you take a look there, that's Jason Capel and that's Nowitzki. Those are the 2 players that allow, I mean, there's a lot of stars here, you know, and there's a chance to see them before they move on to the next level and get really highlighted. But you'll see some outstanding play from some young players.
A very tall world team. 4 of the players on the floor for them are 6'9" or bigger. 3 of them are 6'11".
Yeah, that, if you will, is going to be their Achilles heel. I'm not sure they have enough people to handle the ball. Always been a problem in international competition, handling the speed and quickness of the guards.
And a quick foul is going on Jerron Rush from Team USA, wearing number 8. He is headed to UCLA next year.
Yeah, Jerron Rush is nice. Got some good skills. Watched him a little bit at Michael Jordan's camp last summer workout. Quick to the basket. 6'8", 6'9". He's playing Matt Nielsen. Got his hands full.
And a quick steal here by Capel. Team USA out on the break, and Rashard Lewis, the Texas guy from A-League, Texas, in the Houston area, gives Team USA the early lead.
Yeah, good anticipation. Jason Capel steps out, picks it off.
A definite quickness advantage to Team USA. At the point for the world team is Paulo Coelho with the ball, number 7. He's from Portugal. And they turn it over again, Quinn, and another break opportunity. Jerron Rush will hammer it down.
I'll tell you what that was. That's a football player hitting a basketball player, because Coelho bumped right into Ron Curry, and Curry barely moved, and Coelho lost the ball. He does not like having the pressure of Curry on him.
And Curry's on him again. Good hands again by Team USA. Al Harrington nearly knocking it away. This is Suleiman Kamara, number 12. He's headed to Kentucky in the fall. Dirk Nowitzki is going to draw the contact and the foul on Capel.
Well, I'm not sure where Nowitzki was going. He kind of got himself stumbling along there, but as you said, I think Dirk Nowitzki at the same stage has better skills than Detlef Schrempf. So they look at the upside of these plays. I mean, it's the only thing you can really try to take out of this whole game is what the potential is.
Right now, Nowitzki has gotten a leave of absence from his military responsibilities and also is away from his club team, which is in the playoffs. And when you asked him yesterday why he's here, he said, this is where my future is. He wants to impress all the NBA scouts who are watching this game today.
Yeah, this is the dream of his, to get to the NBA. So he knows that there'll be some scouts here, and there are many, and he wants to try to impress upon them his ability to play.
So, you know, college coaches are not allowed to be at this game. Steal by the world team this time, and Dan Gazurek slips as he was going to go up strong.
Yeah, he was. He was going to crush it. I think he was more scared than anything. You're about to see some athletic ability, I can tell you that. He does a good job getting his hands on the ball, knocks Al Harrington over, gets away with a carry, and just could not get his feet under him, goes down.
Watching him in the warm-up, for a guy 6'11", 245, he looks very agile.
Oh, he's powerful.
Curry from outside misses the jumper. Nowitzki had the rebound. And the world team will control. Coelho, the look ahead. Matt Nielsen up and under.
Yeah, Matt Nielsen's got nice skill. Matt Nielsen, matter of fact, is the guy that they think may have the best chance out of Australia to go into the NBA. Long arms, gets to the hoop, player.
Jason Capel draws the foul. And Gazurek picks it up. Capel said it was a tough choice between North Carolina and Old Dominion, where his father coaches, but his dad sat him down and said, listen, you do what's best for you. And he decided that he is headed to Chapel Hill.
Well, he had an interesting circumstance, too, because when he considered Chapel Hill, Coach Dean Smith was going to be there. And by the time it was, you know, Coach Smith made his commitment not to stay there and retire, Capel stuck with it. He figured at some point Coach Smith was not going to be there. It says something about the man's commitment.
Right. USA getting their hands in there on almost every possession and forcing another turnover on the world team. Harrington at the other end. Nice play by Al Harrington.
Yeah, that's what's scary about Al Harrington. You think about a guy coming at you that big and strong. I mean, he gets to the basket. He's 6'9", and he looks like a guard.
Steal by Rashard Lewis. Right now, the USA dominating at the defensive end and turning it into easy buckets at the offensive end.
How about a steal contest? That's what they turned that into.
10-4, Team USA early, as they have done an outstanding job forcing the world team into turnovers, showing their athleticism at the other end. Come on back to San Antonio after this.
Here's your house. Oh, terrific. Here's your house. She's good. Yes. Winner. Super. Stupid. Okay.
If it were this easy to win a new house,
You get out.
Yeah.
you wouldn't need to enter the Century 21 Home Run Derby sweepstakes, where you could win $250,000 toward a new home.
Enter now at Century21.com. Play the Home Run Derby game and win instant prizes. Whoa.
At Midas, our knowledgeable technicians love cars. It's all we think about. Sad. Midas, we do that.
here for the install?
I'm at your front door, sir.
I'll tell you what, we'll meet you back there sometime between 12 and 5. Always wanted to say that.
The more powerful Acura RL.
I've always loved working on computers, and in the Army, that's what I do. I set up networks, I troubleshoot, I basically do things I would have never dreamed I'd been able to do before.
If you never thought about the U.S. Army or Army Reserve, think about this. There are 212 ways for you to become a soldier and work at a job you'll love. Call for this free video to find out which job is right for you.
I'd never really thought of the Army as a choice.
Your free video will also give you an idea of what Army life is like, how you can earn money for college, even what questions to ask your recruiter.
I'm going to walk away with a lot of memories, a lot of friends, and something that's going to change me for the rest of my life.
Call 1-800-645-ARMY right now, and you'll also receive a free Army t-shirt. Discover the 212 ways you can be an Army of one.
If you would ask me a year ago if I'd be here doing this, I could have never imagined it. I love what I do. I love doing it for the Army.
Tonight on ESPN at 7, Baseball Tonight, followed by Sunday Night Baseball as the Indians take on the Rangers. Then catch SportsCenter at 11. On the Juice at 8, Game 6 of the Maple Leafs and Islanders. Then NHL Tonight for all the playoff news and highlights, followed by NHRA action. On ESPN Classic at 7, SportsCenter of the Decade takes a look at the 1990s, followed by Richard Dreyfuss in Let It Ride. And catch ESPN News anytime for scores and updates.
You're watching our 7-hour Before They Were Pros marathon, featuring the likes of Kevin Garnett, Antoine Walker, Shane Battier, Dirk Nowitzki, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, and Paul Pierce back in the day, right here on ESPN Classic.
Welcome back to the Nike Hoops Summit. Dan Schulman, Quinn Buckner, Dave Feldman with you. The United States with a 10-4 lead. Rashard Lewis with a couple of huge jams already for Team USA. Great defense by Team USA. The world team just can't even make an easy pass right now.
Well, we talked about it. I mean, they've got a big team, which means they don't have any real ball handlers. And Coelho is I mean, he's been fighting by Ronald Curry. I mean, he'll throw it and go get it back, but he's not anxious. I can tell you that, but that's always been the nature of what goes on. If you can pressure the guards in any team, you take away what they can do.
Here's Nowitzki from Germany, strong to the bucket. He meant business on that trip and draws the foul.
Yeah, and he also got a little nasty streak in him, too, because he's being calmed down like he's talking junk. I think it's just his nature to be competitive. Watch him take it to the hole here. Gets Capel leaning. Capel's really not strong and tall enough, and you see him get over there. Rush comes over late and fouls Nowitzki.
Huge numbers on his club team in Germany as he drops in the first to make it 10-5.
Well, you know, he plays on a second-level team and club team, and he's chosen to do that because of some loyalty to his coach. And so his numbers may be slightly inflated, but it still says it says something about his potential.
Fouls on Jerron Rush, already his second here in this game. We're less than 3 minutes into it. 10-6 United States. Ronald Curry forcing the issue with Coelho. No basket, but a foul.
I'm telling you. Quick and strong. And I tell you this, I'll say this, I'm a bit biased. There's something about a football player playing basketball. He has no fears of getting hurt because he's been hit as hard as he could ever get hit in football. It won't happen here.
And as you mentioned, he signed a football scholarship with North Carolina, but he told us yesterday that he is going to become a member of the basketball team as soon as the basketball season begins. There he is on the jumper, which will be interesting if he's the starting quarterback for the football team at that time.
Yeah, but I think they have a quarterback there that he feels pretty comfortable that's going to be there for at least one more year, the fifth-year senior. So, you know, young man thinks he can play, but he knows how good he is.
There's Nowitzki in traffic again, and he gets called for a travel. And a new face in the game now for Team USA. Rush going out with his 2 fouls. And Quentin Richardson, number 10, one of the late additions to the USA team, is in. He's a young man from Chicago, part of an outstanding recruiting class heading to DePaul.
Ooh, did you see Jules Kamara go up and get that? Kentucky will be happy about that.
Coelho.
That's his thing. And you saw at the end of that, the Stewart put his hands on the rim while the ball is up there. In international rules, you are allowed to do that.
Harrington for the baseline, misses the 10-footer. And Nowitzki, another rebound underneath. He doesn't have the bulk of some of the USA players. Another jam for Lewis. Jason Capel, the steal and the feed.
Great feed by Capel after the steal over the top.
6 points for Rashard Lewis. All of them coming on dunks. Here's Nowitzki to the bucket again. He just likes to take it to the hole.
Yeah, he will. He'll take it to the hole. I can see that. Now they're starting to get after it a little bit. See Nowitzki come out of there. Capel gets his hands on it, gets it back to Lewis. Slam. That's where Nowitzki's got to be stronger with the ball. And then from there, Capel just does a good look.
Here's Nowitzki at the line again. He's been there often already here today.
I think if you're impressed with anybody, anything, you got to be impressed with a guy 6'11" that can put it on the floor and get to the foul line, of which he's made 5 already. 5 of 5.
Responsible for most of the world points. Make it 6 of 6. 6'11", and still looks like he's got a little bit of weight he can put on in the next few years.
He can. I tell you what, it probably is going to end up being strength. I'm not sure he'll put on a lot of weight, but his strength will be real good.
Curry to the hole again. Here's Harrington, and it comes free to Quilio. USA crashing the glass, and again, the world team with really just one primary ball handler out there in Quilio, 4 forwards alongside him.
Well, the guy that they let handle it a little bit will be Nielsen, the guy just got the rebound. He's kind of a clever player anyway.
Number 11, he's the captain of the world team, Quilio.
He might get a touch.
Close. Just about. Let's go to Dave Feldman.
All right, thanks, Dan. Capel, of course, had the great steal. Did the coach teach him that, or did the dad teach him that? I'm with the dad, Jeff.
I think he probably got that from his mom.
The mom could dish it.
The mom could dish it, no question.
What's it like watching your son here?
It's tough. I mean, it really is. You know, people have asked me a lot if it's tougher to coach my own team or to watch my son. It's a lot tougher to watch my son because I have no control and I want him to be successful.
He's also going to North Carolina. That's not where you are. You're at ODU.
I'm at Old Dominion, but it's been his lifelong dream to play for the Tar Heels, and he's very excited, and I'm excited for him.
I asked you why this game would be different than other All-Star games, and you said something about the jersey.
Well, when you put that jersey on and it has USA on the front of it, it has a little bit more meaning than it does for a McDonald's Classic or some other type of game. And when you're playing for your country, representing your country, it certainly takes on greater significance.
Did he talk to you about that? Was he real excited?
He was really excited about this game and looking forward to playing.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. And there's a lot of international pride on the line, and a number of the players said that the McDonald's game, while it's an all-star game, this one is a little bit different because of the USA across your chest.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And I think Matt Nielsen from Australia feels very strongly about the fact he's representing the world on this team as you see Rashard Lewis get that steal and finished by Ron Curry. So there is definitely some pride here. They'll tell you, they think those players who played, Zurich being one of them, who played the European, the McDonald's and play here, that this is a much more contested game.
And I think we're seeing defense early on. The USA is getting easy buckets because of all the steals they're forcing. Quilio won't get it to go. And again, Jeff Capel Sr., the head coach at ODU, here as a dad, because college coaches are not allowed to be here at this game. But more than enough NBA folks to make up for that.
Well, this loads them up. Jeff Capel's done a great job. His son, the other Jeff that used to play at Duke, is playing now in the CBA. And talking to Jason, it was interesting. Jason talked about how when Jeff, who was going through a very difficult time, how he had helped him, just talk to him and encourage his older brother to get through a tough time that he had at Duke University. So now they've got a Tar Heel and a Blue Devil in the same household.
That's the line, Paulo Quilio from Portugal. He'll sink it and head out of the game. And coming in from Puerto Rico is Bobby Ferrer at 5'11", the smallest player on either side in this game. And at the point now for Team USA, Eric Barkley wearing number 4. He is heading to St. John's this coming season. He's a Queens native and thrilled to be playing at Madison Square Garden.
Mecca. He calls it the Mecca.
Steal by the world team. Zurich trying to go the length of the floor, and Harrington bodies him out. And it's USA ball. Good hustle on the defensive end by Al Harrington.
Yeah, but did you see the athletic ability of Zurich after the play? I mean, to get on that wall to make sure he didn't get hurt. I mean, those little things tell you something about a player. This kid, Zurich, only been playing 5 years, got a lot of basketball to learn.
And Zurich and Harrington, maybe two of the most interesting players in this game, that they still have not decided where they're going to college. There's Harrington with a sweet bucket.
I tell you what Harrington can do. He can get the ball in the basket a lot of ways. And you're right, neither have decided to go. Some thought about Zurich going to UCLA, but that is just, more conversation than anything else.
Where are you off to?
Some conference in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah? Who is?
With Cooper.
Cooper.
Who's naughty on this plane? This guy. How much do you make?
Drink. Because it's not as much as I make, I'll tell you that much right now.
Sort by shortest flights. Another way Expedia makes it easy to find the trip you're looking for.
Expedia.com.
Primary head down to close. Flight pressurization is underway. Counting. The development flight instrumentation recorders are on. Perfect. 8, 7, 6, 5, good to go. 1. We have the dog.
Tonight on ESPN Classic. Find out what it's like to let it ride. A small-time gambler.
You son of a gun!
He's about to hit the big time.
God likes me! Do you really, really like me?
And everybody wants a piece of the action.
Give me the money.
Academy Award winner Richard Dreyfuss stars in another real classic, Let It Ride. 9 Eastern tonight on ESPN Classic.
Across the country, people everywhere are tuning into a revolutionary new kind of radio that delivers more choice, better sound, and coast-to-coast coverage. Introducing XM Satellite Radio. Part rocket science, part rock and roll, XM brings 100 channels of music, news, sports, and entertainment to your car or home for just $9.99 a month. It's easy to get XM, and you don't even have to replace your radio. XM adapters start at $300, and you can save $50 if you call our toll-free number now. XM has it all, from programming you already know and love to an extraordinary range of original channels you can't hear anywhere else. XM puts 71 channels of music, 12 channels of news, 5 channels of sports, and 12 channels of talk and information at your fingertips, including more than 30 commercial-free channels. So join the radio revolution. Call our toll-free number now to save $50 on an XM satellite radio system at a store near you.
Welcome back to our Before They Were Pros marathon. I'm Neil Everett. Time for some classic trivia, the portion of the program where you can prove you know more than your friends. Or maybe not. Anyway, here's the question. Which team selected Dirk Nowitzki in the 1998 NBA draft? Was it the Celtics, Mavericks, Bucks, or Hawks? Think about it. We'll have the answer later on in the game. Please stay with us.
And welcome back, everybody. Due to some technical problems, we've moved further ahead in our coverage of this game. Now, let's bring you up to date on who some of the big-time performers in this game have been for both sides. Rashard Lewis playing in front of a lot of family and friends. He is from the Houston area. He is leading Team USA with 16 points, and Al Harrington out of New Jersey has 15. Jaron Rush, who's headed to UCLA, with 6. For the world team as well, 2 players really dominated when they were in there, although we haven't seen them in a while. Dirk Nowitzki from Germany and Matt Nielsen from Australia, the high scorers for the world team. But since they went to the bench, and maybe you figured the USA could make a run, this bench group, including a 16-year-old and their third-string point guard, they've really done a nice job.
Well, I think they pushed the ball up the court. And I think that makes a big difference, Dan. I think they've been able to settle down. I think the international game is one where they will push it up. But the interesting thing is, you know, you can take a look at that lane somewhat widen as you go down to the baseline. They'll drive to the basket and throw out the three-pointer.
Right.
You know, so they're accustomed to getting out the run. Now, you have to remember, these guys have not played together very much.
The world team has been together for about 5 or 6 days, longer than the U.S. team has. As Fotsis has now scored the last 6 points for the world team, and they lead by 3. Eric Barkley from Queens headed back the other way for the U.S.
And one of the things that seemed to happen, and it does in all-star games, seen a little more individual play on the part of the U.S. team, and it's cost them. That's a careless turnover there by Ray Young.
You know, it's funny you should mention that. I talked to Matt Nielsen from Australia about the 22 and under World Championships won by Australia, and Team USA under Rick Majerus finished 5th, and he said, well, we all knew the USA had the best athletes, but they played like individuals, and the other countries played like teams.
Yeah, and you know what? The other thing they get is, though the U.S. is, they're young in terms of their basketball experience, because they just don't play together.
Flowers with time running out in the first half. Fotsis will have to throw it up there. almost got it to go at the buzzer. It was a big lead for Team USA early, but the world team with its bench has gotten back into it and has taken a 52-49 in a very fast-paced and entertaining first half. Let's go to Dave Feldman.
All right, Dan, we're waiting here for Al Harrington. We're going to get him in just a moment and visit with him and try to discuss what is going on here in the first half. 1 second here. Let's frame you up. All right, Al. Talk about the first half, 15 points, but what happened really was a little sloppy play with the ball because you guys had a commanding lead in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to get a little fight with the ball, a little one-on-one. Before that, we playing a team game, passing, making an extra pass. So I think, that's all we got to do in the locker room, just talk about that, concentrating on the way we played in the first 10 minutes.
Talk about the intensity of this competition. You knew it would be fierce, and it's physical. It's kind of like a rugby match a little bit out there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, European kids are like that. They're very competitive. And I know especially, they're playing against the best USA players. So, they're going to bring their A game. So, we just have to play hard and, play team ball.
All right, thanks, Al. Good luck in the second half.
All right, thank you.
All right, Al Harrington at 15 points. We'll come back to the Nike Hoop Summit. Plenty more from halftime right after this.
Long ago, when the gift of fire came to Earth, the first keepers of the flame emerged. They were the ones who nurtured it and preserved it. In time, they learned the pleasures of the open flame. And they passed this learning along across the bridge of years. And so fire came into our modern times, and a new keeper of the flame emerged. One who's brought all of man's skills to bear, making it easier than ever before to grill over an open flame, so the tradition could continue, at least for another 10,000 years. Charcoal, keepers of the flame.
When I was a kid, I was lively. So I want to do something really good for my mom this Mother's Day. That's why I shop at 1-800-Flowers.com. There's so many gifts to choose from. Plus, I can get 10% off select gifts delivered on May 7th or 8th, just in time for Mother's Day. Hey, Mom, what's this? Now I know how much she deserves it.
I'm Jim McCann from 1-800-Flowers.com. Call, click, or come in today.
Okay, let's do one-year predictions. You first.
I predict you'll be on the menu.
Ooh, zinger. You got me. Come on.
Dow, 5,000. NASDAQ, 800.
Interesting. Wrong, but interesting. Get this. Dow, 25,000. NASDAQ, 8,000. Give or take $1,000.
Or 10.
You know the difference between you and me?
Yeah, common sense.
No, you're a pessimist. Nobody likes a pessimist.
Nobody likes a talking steak either.
No matter which way you think the market will go, Ameritrade can give you an edge with a fast trading site and a 10-second guarantee. Qualified market trades that take longer than 10 seconds to execute are commission-free. Limitations apply. Open a cash account with $1,000 and get 25 internet equity trades commission-free. Go to Ameritrade.com.
Hey, aren't you going to leave a tip?
Tipping is for cows.
She was destined for greatness when tragedy struck from behind. SportsCenter flashes back 9 years to tell one of sport's darkest stories, the stabbing of Monica Seles.
It robbed the sport of its innocence.
7 Eastern Tuesday on ESPN Classic.
You're watching our 7-hour Before They Were Pros marathon, featuring the likes of Kevin Garnett, Antoine Walker, Shane Battier, Dirk Nowitzki, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, and Paul Pierce back in the day, right here on ESPN Classic.
And welcome back. We're at halftime of the Nike Hoop Summit. Matthew Nielsen plays for the world team. He's from Australia, outside of Sydney. It was a physical game. They started with an early run. You guys are back in it, and you got a 3-point halftime lead.
Yeah, well, I think, they came out very strong. They were ready to go. We're a little bit hesitant at first, but I think we're starting to get into a groove.
At one of your huddles, you were talking about not only sloppy passes, but the players getting big to receive the ball. Did you work on that?
Yeah, I think we need to get strong against some of these physical guys, and some of us weren't, and so I think we fixed that problem up.
All right, have a good game.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's go for the second half to Dan and Quinn.
Dave, thank you very much. And Matthew Nielsen going to represent Australia at the Olympics in Sydney in the year 2000. A look at the leading scorers. Rashard Lewis, who had an outstanding first half, 16 for Team USA. Al Harrington with 15, and Nielsen among the leading scorers for the world team. Dirk Nowitzki from Germany, a very aggressive and physical 14 points to lead the world team. But here to start the second half, the world team's going to stay with the group that they closed the first half with, even though most of them are off the bench because things went so well for them.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of that. I also think that the coach is figuring that he's got a group of all-stars here, so it really shouldn't make that much difference to start.
Jerron Rush starting the second half aggressively, missed the first shot, he got it back and was fouled.
Yeah, Rush is a guy that will put it on the floor on his way to UCLA.
He's trying to do a little bit of recruiting as it happens here. Jerron Rush and Ray Young, two members of Team USA, are going to UCLA. And Dan Gazurik, big player from the Netherlands on the world team, is considering UCLA among his college choices. And Rush and Young are hoping to recruit him here this afternoon.
Yeah, they're looking to recruit him, like I'm sure Earl Watson, who's already from the same area, recruited Jerron Rush.
With the ball, Dimitri Lauwers, number 10 from Belgium. He's been by far the best of the three-point guards for the world team here today.
That's why he's on the floor, because as the game started off, Ronald Curry had every other guard afraid to handle the ball. Lauwers didn't.
He's shown a little bit of flair in his game as well. Some fancy no-look passes. Luis Scola. Clean block, they say, and Harrington the loose ball. Curry pushing it at the other end now is going to pull it out.
That's where that's going. If Lewis gets it, Lewis and Harrington gets it, they know what to do with it. Put it in the basket.
They have combined for 33 of the USA's 53 points, and Curry a near steal on Lauwers. Curry working very hard defensively. Both he and Eric Barkley, the two USA point guards, have had good defensive intensity all day. Antonio Latimer on his way to DePaul and on his way to the bucket until he was knocked away.
Yeah, Ron Rush came back to get that one. Latimer going to DePaul, as well as Quentin Richardson, who's on the U.S. team. Small three.
That was Lauwers, who they tell us shoots better than 60% in the Belgian league from three-point range. Good hustle, and the world gets it back.
Great effort there by Latimer to go down and get the ball and get it to somebody that can handle it.
Scola from outside. Latimer is going to tip it back in.
Capel didn't block him out.
And remember, although it didn't come into play there, in international rules, you can go up over the cylinder to get the ball. Rebound underneath to Scola, and a look ahead. Fotsis, numbers for the world team. And Antonio Fotsis, 16 years old, has 8 points in 6 minutes in this game.
Yeah, Fotsis, young guy. Good skill. You can see them in his ability to get out on the floor. I like his game.
Harrington from outside. Scola grabbing for the rebound and a jump ball.
Well, that's one of the things I think the world team has done better. At the half, it was 23-12 in the rebounding department. They came out and really got after it. I'm sure that was the discussion at halftime. Make sure you stay on the glass or take a look here on the right side. Looks like, no, that's a pretty good call. It was not clean. World gets this one as it bounces off of Ronald Curry.
Sandro Gamba from Italy, the head coach of the world team.
Sit down. Power!
We heard him during halftime telling his players, be ferocious out there. You have to play strong.
Well, think about it. He's got to communicate with guys from all over the world. So he's got to figure out what terminology translates into what he needs to get done with all of his players.
The 12 world players come from 11 different countries. That's a 2-point bucket for Jason Capel. The only player for the world team who hasn't played in this game is the one guy from Italy. Go figure, with the coach being from Italy, but Andrea Michelori's yet to play.
They decided probably just to give you a little... I'm trying to get a little bit of a call.
Latimer for Puerto Ricans.
That's my point exactly. I mean, he barely knows who some of these young men are.
Go in for the Puerto Rican. It's Dirk Nowitzki from Germany getting set to check back in. When he was in there in the first half, he just might have been the best player on the floor. The world by 1 with the ball. Lauwers looking inside for Scola. Scola from Lithuania going by Richard Lewis, and the tip back up and in by Luis Scola from Argentina, who's had a tremendous game off the bench.
Yeah, he's been active on the glass. That was one that was on the rim. Internationally, you can go get those. He just went to get that with Scola, just went to go get that rebound.
Scola now with 12 points and 9 rebounds, and a little more slipping on the floor as Ronald Curry goes down hard.
See right here, just taking the ball to the basket, strong as Darius gets it up, but you see coming back, Scola. See, it's on the rim. You can touch it in international competition.
12 points, 9 rebounds for him. Latimer goes out for the world team, and Nowitzki comes back in.
Got to be fresh. He's said a long time. He played about 14 minutes in the first half, and you got to consider they had the whole halftime, and now he's just getting back in the game.
Harrington spinning on Scola, and a foul. Bit of a late call, but an obvious one with all the contact underneath. Well, where is Al Harrington going to wind up in university? He says he's narrowed it down to 6 choices, Quinn. Georgia Tech, Ohio State, NC State, Villanova, St. John's, and Seton Hall.
I don't know. I'm sure Seton Hall would obviously like to keep him in state, Tommy Amaker, but I don't think Tommy Amaker wants him any more than anybody else would want him.
Let's go to Dave Feldman.
Well, you know, Al Harrington, Dan's got a lot of ability away from the court, too. He was the lead in 2 musicals at his school. And I said, so you must be a good singer, Al. And he goes, no, I talk very loudly, and I fake a lot of people. Back to you.
Well, that's a skill in itself.
Yeah, he got a good sense of humor. Yeah. You can't be in those kinds of events and not have some talent.
He's a nice young man. And he talked about Tommy Amaker. Here's the steal by Jerron Rush. Fumbling down the floor, can't finish. Another connection between Al Harrington and Seton Hall is that Shaheen Holloway, the starting point guard for Seton Hall, went to St. Patrick's, just where Harrington goes now. They were high school teammates, and Tommy Amaker hoping to reunite them at the college level. Number 3 on Jason Capel. Flowers still at the point for the world team. Nowitzki. All the big men internationally can shoot the ball.
That's always been a skill set in international basketball, shooting the ball. Really, as much as the U.S. has adopted three-point line, it is the international community that I think maintained it for a very long period of time. And I think to a greater degree takes the best advantage of it.
And you see it in the NBA with all the big men who could step out and shoot the ball as well. The world team leading by 4, hoping to even up the series at 2 wins apiece.
My lawn is really by pride and joy. I know it's weed-free. I know it's dandelion-free. I know that for a fact because I hate dandelions. But every time I'm out here working on it, my neighbor Lana says, how do you get rid of your dandelions? I do it by using Scott's Turf Builder Plus 2. A light granule sticks to that wet leaf much easier than a heavy granule, which would fall off. If it doesn't stick, it just doesn't work. Apply it, sticks to the leaf, Zappo. No more dandelions. Actually, to tell you the truth, she's trying to keep up with me. Uh-oh, I think she heard me. I think it's the greatest product ever made.
No. He is an unstoppable killing machine.
What the hell is going on? Keep Marty! Guys, it's okay. He just wanted his machete back.
Uh-oh. He's been modified. Oh, you think? You guys might want to run.
Jason X.
I don't think he's out there.
Why don't you stick your head out and have a peek?
Now playing.
The world's greatest horse race, an American tradition. Each night, Sports Century will profile a legendary Derby hero. It's Kentucky Derby Week, starting 8 p.m. Monday, only on ESPN Classic.
Sunday on ESPN Classic. Before they were superstars, they had to shoot, slam dunk, and compete their way out of high school hoops and into the NBA. NBA before they were stars. All day today, only on ESPN Classic.
He's a first-time coach.
Them bum guys are coach?
They're the last-place team. But together, they're champions.
Oh, my God, he caught it.
Keanu Reeves.
One of the most important things in life is showing up. I'm blown away by your ability to show up.
Hardball.
Playing this month on pay-per-view. Tune to the 100 and order with your remote.
Alert. You have reached the end of the internet. You have seen everything there is to see. Please go back. now.
Experience the joy of DirecTV DSL. Call now and pay only $29.99 per month for your first 3 months. Call 1-877-4DSL-JOY now.
I thought you were surfing the internet.
Yeah, I finished it.
You're watching our 7-hour Before They Were Pros marathon, featuring the likes of Kevin Garnett, Antoine Walker, Shane Battier, Dirk Nowitzki, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, and Paul Pierce back in the day, right here on ESPN Classic.
Ball to Ronald. Let's push it up the floor. Fill the lanes. Be careful you don't shoot the ball too quickly until we got reboundies in position. Okay, Al? Be careful we don't shoot the ball too quickly until we have rebounders down there. If it's a good shot, we got rebounders.
That's been a big problem for them. The world team is dominating the USA on the boards right now.
Yeah, but I think the coach made a point, and he made it to the person that needed to hear it. Coach Showalter said that he said Al, and he said it for a reason, because Al Harrington is so confident in his ability to score that sometimes he forgets a little bit about the balance of his team, just being told of rebounding. Clearly favoring the world 31-18.
And the world team is taller. The USA team is quicker. Dane Fife, he's going to inbound the ball for Team USA, the younger brother of Dugan. Dugan played at Michigan. Dane is on his way to Bloomington to play at Indiana.
Yeah, and talk to him about that and ask him with all of the going, if you will, down in Bloomington, what made him want to go. He said, I always wanted to be a part of that program, and then that's, you know, so he felt like there was not going to be a problem.
In reading his biography, he says his favorite movie is Hoosiers, and his favorite book is A Season on the Brink, so I guess it makes sense.
I think it speaks for itself.
Said Coach Knight, the one thing he asked him when he talked to him about offering him the scholarship is, can you make the entry pass? And when Dane said yes, they struck a deal.
That's right. Can you make the entry pass and not lose control of the ball? That was his issue.
Here's Rashard Lewis. Passes it off. Ronald Curry gets inside, hangs and scores.
Boy, is he strong. I mean, North Carolina will be happy to have him. He will put some pressure on you both sides of the ball.
Two of the players in this game on their way to Carolina. Jason Capel, the other one. Let's go back to Dave Feldman.
Well, you guys were talking about Dane Fife. You know, he just got slammed to the floor. His brother Dugan at Michigan, they played one-on-one all the time in the backyard. Dane said he never won once. And then I said, so how many times did you play? He said, I stopped playing. It wasn't fun. My brother's a hack, and he'd rather crush me to the asphalt than let me score a hoop.
Boy, that's more than the usual sibling rivalry, it sounds like.
No, I used to watch Dugan a little bit at Michigan. He was a pretty aggressive player. Felt he had 5 fouls. Why not use them?
Now, foul going against the world team on Darius Sangela from Lithuania. And in any language, you can tell he doesn't like the call.
No, he was questioning the call, but, you know, that's to be.
Kind of surprised that we haven't seen in about 12 minutes of playing time Matthew Nielsen, the big Australian player who was so strong early for the world team.
I think it's an opportunity to save him, to tell you the truth, and I think that's what's being done here.
Harrington, the offensive rebound, can't finish, and Dane Fife comes down with it. Rush. The USA has come out here in the second half a little more aggressive on the offensive glass and a little more aggressive getting to the bucket.
Yeah, they are taking it to the basket, but I think, you know, Jerron Rush and all of the U.S. players for Coach Showalter know if you go to the cup, you better go strong.
Rush, a first-team parade All-American. That team just announced today. This is a star-studded USA team. All but one of the players played in the McDonald's All-American game last week, and you can see the numbers for Rush in high school, 32 points a game. Flowers asking for help.
Pick right.
Again, the defensive pressure by Curry has been strong all afternoon. We are tied at 61 early in the second half. This is the 4th annual Nike Hoop Summit. The USA's won 2 of the previous 3. And we'll have a jump ball between Fotsis and Fife.
Just a little bit of that defensive pressure starting to show up. That's what the U.S. did at the top of the show, top of the game. They backed off of it a little bit, and that's why they ended up down at the half.
Do you think there's a tendency on the part of an American team to assume they will beat an international team and to underestimate the opponent at all?
To the degree that history, that the reason history repeats itself because nobody listens the first time. I mean, you already documented the fact that the team that went over under 22 got 5th place.
Yep.
And if these young people don't follow international basketball, they just don't know that.
And that 22 and under team had some good players. Michael Goliak and Andre Miller from Utah. Pat Garrity was on the team. Rick Jarris was the coach.
Jarris is the coach. Chad Austin from Purdue. Brad Miller from Purdue. Evan Eschenmeyer. They had a pretty good team.
Scola left the jump hook short. And Matt Nielsen, the 20-year-old from Australia who was playing in this game, was on the gold medal winning team. Harrington the dunk, and Curry is injured as he slipped down. And both teams are having trouble with their footing down in the paint. 19 for Al Harrington.
And I'll tell you what, you talked about in the paint. I marvel at the way Curry not only sees the floor. That was a hard pass that had to be made quickly, but it was with a soft touch. A little bit of that quarterback coming out of him. Harrington trying to get a little work here defensively. Does a good job when you see it come up as an air ball. He's been able to contest it pretty good. You see right here, pinpoint pass. Harrington on the other end by Curry.
How do you see Curry fitting it in North Carolina? Shimano Williams moving on, but Ed Cota's still there.
They'll have to play them together at the very least, but at some point, I mean, I think you've got to look at, because of just his ability to get out and extend the defense, you've got to have Ron Curry on the floor.
Going to Scola in the post again. Nowitzki spinning by Rush.
Okay, he got fouled.
He shows a lot of body control and a lot of good moves for a guy who's 6'11".
He's got a little bit of, like a better term, that nasty USA I can play attitude too. You like that in a player.
Now, this game is getting a lot of media coverage back in Germany, in Australia, in Puerto Rico. Newspaper reporters have been calling here to speak with the players all week long. This is a result that's going to get some headlines around the world, especially if the world team can win it.
Yeah, it'd be a big deal. I mean, obviously, if the world team would find a way to pull this off.
Nowitzki very strong from the line here this afternoon. He has 19 points to match Harrington for the lead here in the game.
Nowitzki's a guy that we talked about that wants to get to the U.S. and play basketball. But he had to make that decision late. So in doing so, what he did was all of a sudden he decided he wanted to go to college. So the U.S. coaches start calling at all hours of the night without consideration for the time difference.
Oh, really?
So Nowitzki decided to get himself an answering machine. Figured he solved that problem.
Substitutions. Paulo Pueblo back in at the point for the world team, replacing Dimitri Lowers, who might be as big a reason as any that the world team's gotten back into the game.
He was a big part of it, settling them down.
Capel, Barkley, Lewis back in for Team USA. Harrington on the follow, give him 21.
And a nose for the ball. Round the ball all the time, especially on the offensive end.
Harrington out there playing with Barkley, who's headed to St. John's, and told us that the Johnnies really strengthened their bid for him by signing Eric Barkley. Matt Nielsen from Australia back into the game, and an instant bucket. He's got 13. Dane Fife for 3.
I like the pass by Harrington. Harrington has scored points. Now we're starting to look for people. Remember at the end of the half, he started talking about guys not sharing the ball.
That's right.
He realized that he was one of those guys, and obviously has made a change.
And a 3-point lead for the USA because of it.
Scola still having trouble handling that ball.
Scola inside. And the foul is going to go over the back on a bewildered Jason Capel.
Now, Harrington's just active. Look, he finds a way. He just keeps moving, make you have to think about him all the time. You always want to be hard to guard. Blocks out a little bit, gets the position right there, feel for the ball. Then here, good push because he gets it outside. There are 3 people in. Nowitzki gets the fight late, and there's a 3.
One of Dane Fife's specialties. The foul on Team USA went on Jason Capel, his 4th. He has gone to the bench as a result. Geron Rush back into the game for the U.S. Coelho and Barkley at the point, and another turnover. Coelho struggling, and Harrington's taking advantage.
The U.S. team is applying more pressure, too, and that's making a difference.
23 for Al Harrington. And another turnover. This time it's Rashard Lewis who slipped, and as a result, missed the dunk.
Yeah, he did. You're right. You chronicled it. Players have all slipped inside on that paint. That flooring has not held up because the same thing happened right here on the sideline where they have the flags put down. So that's something the guys have to be careful with.
These stickers, or whatever they are, that they have put down on the floor, are giving the players a lot of trouble. Fortunately, no one yet has been injured. Harrington, the star, is the star today with 23. USA leads by 5.
V6 Nissan Altima.
I like the way you work it. No diggity. I thought you back.
Why you frontin'?
No.
You know you really want it.
No.
It's Monster Jams, the biggest blazing R&B hits of all time on 2 CDs or 2 cassettes. You can't get this 32-track collection. Monster Jams is packed and stacked with the hottest R&B grooves. Perfect for the freak in you. You can order this collection online at MusicSpace.com. From the Jeep to the street, these are the hits with more bounce to the ounce. Why wait? Order this collection by Rush Delivery. Get to it. Get Monster Jams now. To order, have your credit card ready and call the number on your screen or log on to MusicSpace.com. Rush Delivery available.
It's the greatest sports in North Carolina history, and it's only on ESPN Classic. Wake Forest upsets number 2 Duke in 94. Elton Brand leads the Blue Devils against Vince Carter and the Tar Heels in 98. And it's a double OT thriller as Rasheed Wallace, Jerry Stackhouse, and UNC invade hostile Duke territory in 95. Classic North Carolina starts at noon Eastern, Sunday, May 5th, only on ESPN Classic. Brought to you locally by Time Warner Cable.
You're watching our 7-hour Before They Were Pros marathon, featuring the likes of Kevin Garnett, Antoine Walker, Shane Battier, Dirk Nowitzki, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, and Paul Pierce back in the day, right here on ESPN Classic.
And welcome back to the Nike Hoop Summit here in San Antonio. Dan Schulman, Quinn Buckner, Dave Feldman. 70-65. The United States has bounced back here early in the second half to reclaim the lead after the world had it at the break. And who faced this half into the game for the U.S. He is Kevin Lyde, number 11, on his way to Temple. Matthew Nielsen dumps it underneath. Suleiman Kamara will get the roll.
They called him Jewel. Jewel actually got the chance to be a pretty good player. You can see he's got some raw skills.
Harrington, there's some skills.
I'm telling you, he can put it in the basket.
25 for Al Harrington, now pressuring Kamara.
See why Harrington was named Player of the Year.
Nowitzki, coast to coast.
Dan, the reason that's a good take, this guy's 6'11", going at full speed, and the guy's ready to take the charge and is able to avoid the charge and make a play out of it. Look at it. You see Lyde is there, and Nowitzki goes with some body control.
That's tough to project things down the road, but he says he's here because he hopes the NBA is in his future, and he's playing in front of 40 NBA scouts today. Does he have the skills to play at that level?
He's showing good signs. I mean, first of all, one of the things you can always have in your favor, you can't teach height. You can teach him to go left and right, but you can't teach height. He has that. He has the ability to put it on the floor for a big man, to step outside and shoot it. I've yet to really see him post up, though.
Done a great job at the line today. Brings the world team back within 3. Eric Barkley, long on the jumper. Loose ball to Nielsen from Australia.
He's the kind of Nielsen he's the guy you like to play with. He'll knock the ball to himself or to a teammate, may not come up with it.
He's the only player in this game who played in it last year. Kamara got his man in the air. A little strong on the jumper. Lowers gets it back for the world. Wide open, Nowitzki. And Nielsen with an offensive rebound.
That's Nielsen. That's just the nature of his game.
Kamara. With Harrington on him.
They'll be happy with Kamara at Kentucky. By the time he leaves there, they'll be real happy with him.
He's about 6'11" as well.
6'11", great wingspan.
Lowers for the baseline. And the rebound comes free to Rush. Long bounce pass to Eric Barkley.
Good pass by Rush.
Nielsen. Great bounce pass of his own. Scola will get it to go down.
They got his legs taken off from under him. Looking for a ball, nothing there.
And Lowers was looking for one on the last trip down. Good defensive work by Nielsen to knock it out of bounds.
I mean, you got to be able to make plays, but Rush gets out here. One-handed, off the dribble, bounce pass to Barkley for the easy lay, and I'm sure it may be Barkley to run our test next year at St. John.
And they hope Harrington as well. Rush on his way to UCLA. And the guy he's hoping to recruit, Dan Gazurek, has just come back in for the world team. Loose ball to Nielsen. Well, seems to find his hands, doesn't it?
No, Nielsen has a feel. I mean, he's just there. That one, he just lobbed a little too high. You can hear Coach Gamba hollering at Matt to take it easy.
Now that world team has turned it over 23 times to just 11 for the United States. Barkley has it knocked away from behind by Lowers, and a foul against the United States.
But are you surprised by the turnovers? Remember, we talked about there's a bigger team on the floor for the world team.
That's a foul from behind.
And it is for Coach Showalter's USA team.
Generally, the world team's had 1 point guard and 4 players 6'9" or bigger. And now that is the 8th team foul on the United States, and under international rules, that's the bonus, 8 fouls and a half. So Lowers will shoot it at the other end.
Barkley trying to make his complaint. Yes, remember, sometimes you play international competition, and he gets the right complaint. It was Gazurek that got fouled. That's what I thought, and Lowers jumped up there.
In addition to UCLA, Gazurek is also considering Kansas, Kentucky, Cal, and George Washington. Look at what the United States has done from the line. They haven't missed one yet.
The problem has been they haven't been there a lot.
Gazurek at 6'11", 245. Rattle the first down. Stay tuned. Coming up tonight over on ESPN, it's the Women's NCAA Basketball National Championship game between the Lady Texters and the Lady Vols. 8:30 Eastern tonight. Tennessee make it a perfect season and a 3rd consecutive national championship.
You know, for most of basketball, it's either been Louisiana Tech or Tennessee in the Final Four. Louisiana Tech is going to have to find out how to stop Shamika Hole's claw.
Jerron Rush having a fine afternoon, ups the United States lead to 5.
Power screaming for power. He's having a tough time to get down there. Got a little power outage is what you got now.
Kamara looking inside for Gazurek and a foul. That's a physical battle there between Lyde, number 11, and Gazurek, number 14.
And those are both big bodies. Lyde is on his way to Temple. Gazurek, as you've already talked about, looking at a number of schools. But they're a big, strong player. I like the upside here on Dan Gazurek, too. Got a decent-looking shot. Seems to like to compete, and I think those are the kinds of things you want to be able to look for. Basketball skills, And you want a guy that wants to play, more importantly, that wants to win. And I think the Zurich has that intangible.
From the Netherlands, he only started playing basketball about 5 years ago, so his upside might be very high. Curry back in the game for the United States, as is Quentin Richardson. Wide, and Lowers just tries to wrap him up. And a jump ball is called. It must have been before Lyde got his hands on it.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Zurich fighting in the post, doing a good job, but then he lets Lyde get on the inside. Lyde just turns, and you can see Zurich goes up against that and then tries to save it as well and gets back in. They call jump ball on that play.
And a bit of a mismatch. 6'9" Lyde.
That's the second time Nielsen's done that.
Anticipated the USA win on the tip and gotten in there to get the ball. A very heady player. Lowers is fouled at the other end, and the world team is going to spend the next 8 minutes and 49 seconds shooting an awful lot of free throws, it looks like.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And then what I was saying that about Nielsen, he did it on the play in the first half, didn't get the ball, but he went to where the ball probably should have been tipped to. That's a feel. And Nielsen has a good feel.
And he says the only thing more exciting than winning the World Under-22 Championships, which Australia did in Australia last summer, would be to win a medal for Australia at the Olympics in Sydney, his hometown, and he's going to have a chance to represent his country in the Olympics in the year 2000.
Well, he played with Chris Anstey, who in the Under-22 team when they were on the same team, the team that finally won that gold medal. But the international team, both teams practiced in Dallas. And Anstey, now in Dallas Mavericks, took him out on the town a little bit, showed him the ropes.
And the assistant coach of the Dallas Mavericks, Donnie Nielsen, is one of the assistants for the world team. And another slip by Jerron Rush. Those decals in the key, giving both teams a lot of problems. At the other end, and Nielsen has tied the game.
You know what you've noticed? If you think about it, who's had the most problem with it? The U.S.? Because they try to make power moves. They've got that strength and power. The international players don't really have that. They make more finesse moves, so they haven't had to stop or start as often in that paint area, and that's why you don't see him slipping like that. Jerron Rush, watch him try to make this quick move to stop. See, he tried to stop himself, and his foot just went out from under.
And you just have to hope that both teams can get out of this game without any serious injuries. Harrington back to the line. That is the first miss from the line by the United States here today after making their first 16. Look at the numbers on Harrington.
And I'd like to see him a little bit more on that glass, but I think the 6'9" is, I don't think he's 6'9", first of all. He's probably closer to 6'7", maybe a little 6'7 and a half. So rebounding is not what he does as much as score the ball.
Now Zurich slips again, and he is hurt. Dan Zurich, who didn't play much in the first half, has injured his back.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He's going to need some help. He started for the world team, only played a few minutes in the first half, so whether this is an aggravation of an earlier injury or a fresh one, we don't know.
One of the things that could very well, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I got to believe he's had a growth spurt. You know, and he is such an active athlete for that size that may have some effect on what's going on here. And I don't think there'll be any chances taken with a young man's career here. If you're not absolutely sure he's 100%, maybe a good opportunity just to let Dan Zurich just go kind of let that back cool down. Not necessarily cool down, whatever it needs.
Into the game in his place for the first time is Andrea Michelori, number 5 from Italy, the only healthy player who had yet to play in this game. There's one U.S. player, Phil Miles Swift. He's got a bad back and is dressed but not playing. And Michelori getting involved right away.
It's been a really good move. Put it on the floor.
Number 4 on Rashard Lewis of the United States. Jason Capel has 4 as well.
Speaks a little bit to, remember we showed those foul shots that the international team, the world team was getting. And that's because they've been putting the ball on the floor.
And a timeout is called here with just over 8 minutes to play. 77-76. The 3 previous games have all been close, and this one showing signs of heading right down to the wire as well.
It happens in the blink of an eye. that defining moment in every game. When that moment comes, will you have ice in your veins?
It's here. It's clear. New Gatorade Ice.
I took the risks and started my own business. Taking risks, that's what you have to do. But here's a way to help your business with no risk at all. Just call for your free trial version of QuickBooks Pro, America's #1 best-selling small business accounting software. That's right, I said free. For no money, not even a shipping charge. You'll get this free trial version of QuickBooks Pro from the makers of Quicken, so you know it's easy to use. Want to write a check? You just start typing, and QuickBooks Pro fills in the rest. It shows you how much money you're owed and who owes it. It even prints invoices with your company logo. And QuickBooks Pro can save you even more time with features like estimating and job costing. And it integrates with Microsoft Word and Excel. Look, we all take risks in business. Now take advantage of an honest, no-risk opportunity. Call for your free QuickBooks Pro trial version now. There's no bill, no hassle, no risk. You can't do better than that.
This is different. It's the internet without a computer. It's email without a keyboard. It's the best thing to happen to your telephone. Pronto's your walking, talking, question answering, reservation making, direction giving, must-have, toll-free super number. It's at your service 24 hours a day. And it's yours for the asking. It's your easy answer to life's tough questions. It's your email to 10 people with little more than a whisper. It's your emergency contact. It's customizable. It's Rodeo Drive. It's Wall Street. It's up to the minute. It works from any phone, and it's a cinch to sign up. It's no contract. It's unlimited. It's more than just answers. It's a solution, and it's waiting for your call. Pronto. Change everything you know. Try Pronto today risk-free for 30 days. Call 1-800-672-0180 to sign up now.
Every athlete has a story.
You just knew you were in the presence of greatness.
A story that inspires.
He was winning Wimbledon with one hand and fighting the ills of this world with the other.
That brings us together.
When Magic announced that he had the AIDS virus, Bird broke down and cried.
And defines our history.
Jack has changed our thinking. He said, this is America.
These are their stories. This is the award-winning Sports Century, 8 p.m. weeknights on ESPN Classic.
Welcome back. I'm Neil Everett. Earlier in the game, we asked you this classic trivia question. Which team selected Dirk Nowitzki in the '98 NBA draft? Was it the Celtics, Mavericks, Bucks, or Hawks? And the answer is C. Milwaukee chose Nowitzki 9th overall. He was immediately traded to Dallas, became a starter in his second season. Last year, he was third-team All-NBA, and this year he made the All-Star team. Certainly come a long way since the days when fans used to heckle him with chants of Dirk Diggler. See Nowitzki in action as our Before They Were Pros marathon continues right here on ESPN Classic.
Sandro Gambo still working hard, trying to coach this world team to a win over Don Showalter and Team USA. 4th annual Nike Hoop Summit. The USA winning 2 of the first 3. Kevin Garnett with a double-double in a game 1. Jermaine O'Neal with a big game and a losing effort in a game 2. And then Larry Hughes, the outstanding freshman at St. Louis, leading the United States to a win last year. But Ed Cota and Mike Bibby and so many players who have gone on and are now having outstanding college or NBA careers, in the case of Kevin Garnett, have played here in the Nike Hoop Summit.
No, there's been some outstanding talent. I mean, you can go up and down the line. Sharif Abdul-Rahim, who's now playing in the NBA. Chris Black. And, you know, you talk about Antoine James, Stephon Marbury, Jelani McCoy. These are some guys with some real skills. So, you know, again, and even Duke last year, Duke had 4 players.
That's right. All 4 of those great freshmen played in this game last year. And more you're going to see these international names become more familiar as they start flooding U.S. colleges. Already you look at a program like George Washington and how heavily dependent they are on international players. We're going to see a lot of these guys in the next few years.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people that would consider George Washington because they have shown that they will take international players. So that but you know what? Washington, D.C. also goes for that. There's Nowitzki, and they make another sweet move. But you got that whole metropolitan area of Washington, D.C., where you can do a a lot of things.
And Gazurek, the player who injured his back a little bit earlier, is considering George Washington.
He is right here. Gazurek would like the fact that his teammate Nowitzki is taking the ball to the basket strong. Has a chance to tie this game. I'll take a 2-point lead, I'm sorry.
23 for Nowitzki to lead the world team. They have a 1-point lead with 7.5 to go. A lot of pride on the line. Curry called for a travel. Might have been a carry as well, but either way, it's world ball as we check in with Dave.
Well, Dan, Daniel Gazurek battles chronic back problems. He's had them since he started playing basketball. He irritated his lower back. They doubt he could come back in. He might. Right now, it doesn't feel very good.
Yeah, Dave, thank you very much. And you can see as he just got back to his feet again how gingerly he is moving out there.
Well, I don't know if you want to keep him out here. Guys with bad backs, you may not want to keep him out on the floor if he's going, you know, he has that kind of problem.
Nowitzki with another bucket for the world team to up their lead to 3 at 80-77. The world team has the ball again. Kamara.
Oh, hey. He's going to be all right. He missed the shot, but he'll be all right.
And the putback by Michelori, making the most of his playing time here toward the end of the game. And it's a 5-point lead for the world team as Don Showalter goes back to his bench for Jerron Rush and Jason Capel. This is the largest lead of the day for the world team.
It seems about the same time in the first half that all of a sudden the world team started to pull away. They were able to get some plays. Nowitzki's made some good plays. See, D is D. I don't care what language. Got to check up.
Rush missed the jumper. Rebound Nowitzki. And look at the 6'11" guy lead the break. Great anticipation by Ronald Curry.
Might dunk it on him.
Instead, 2 and a foul on Scola. A big momentum shift there.
Yeah, it really was. Ron Curry doing what he does best, I think, is his ability to change directions because his athletic ability made that great steal. But then he's just so strong. I mean, his body, I mean, he's got, like, almost look at that. This is an easy play there. Now watch him go. He go to the basket. He knows he's going to get hit. He takes it, lays it up, goes down, actually has a good presence. Watch, he doesn't go down hard because he knows he's going to get hit. Pushes off a little bit. On the line, and missed the foul shot. Nowitzki with the rebound.
USA going a little bit full. Right now, there's another steal. Scola again, and he fouls him again. This time, no bucket, but Curry shoots 2, and Scola thinks he was clean. Let's go back to Dave Feldman.
You know, Ronald Curry chose North Carolina, and one of the reasons he did was Phil Ford. He loved him. I said, what do you know about Phil Ford as a player? He goes, man, I'm not that old. I don't remember Phil Ford at all. I just know he did something with 4. I think it was the 4 corners.
Guarantee you most of these players don't know who Phil Ford is, but if they have any idea, they'll know he was one of the outstanding guards to play at North Carolina. And one of the reasons that they now is a 30-second clock was because of those 4 corners, right, and the way Phil Ford and North Carolina used to handle it.
Curry misses the first free throw. The United States hit their first 16. Scola from Argentina becomes the first player in this game to foul out. And it's now a 2-point game with 6.5 to play. A lot of time. And a foul on Curry. There's Nielsen at 6'9" with the confidence to challenge Curry off the dribble. Haven't seen Curry steal the ball the last 2 times.
It takes a little confidence because Ronald Curry gets around through to the ball.
Nielsen, a professional player in Australia, so ineligible to ever play college ball in the United States, but told me before the game he hopes the NBA is in his future. If they come calling, he'll listen.
Well, it's one of the reasons he continues to participate here in the Hoop Summit. He made a decision. He's the only player who really played last year, but he made a decision this time last year that he was going to play. He wanted to stay in Australia as much as anything, but he wants to get his game established well enough that the NBA people finally tell him it's time to come and be a part of what they do.
Harrington, a tough 3. Well, he makes a good point. If you live in Australia, play professionally, and make a nice living, why leave? Unless you've got a really good offer.
This is a very confident young man here. I mean, he has opinions, and he's not afraid to voice them.
One of the big reasons the world team leads by 4. He'll jump it off against Capel and win it to Nowitzki, who took a shot from Harrington. And Nowitzki took his number on the way by.
Yeah, he did. He looked like he was jotting down something. Yeah. That might be a little, not a Mack truck, but a mini truck. You better be careful.
Now Nowitzki by Rashard Lewis, and he'll go back to the line yet again.
I told you, he can put it on the floor. Nowitzki stays defense. Watch him get it up here. Rashard Lewis comes over. There's contact, knocks him down. And Rashard Lewis just fouled out of the game trying to guard Dirk Nowitzki. So Nowitzki's done a lot more than just his job.
And a nice round of applause for the lone Texas player on the floor for the United States down here in San Antonio. 18 points, many of them on dunks. Nowitzki back to the line for the world team. He is 11 of 13 from the line in this game as Jaron Rush comes back into the game for the United States.
Yeah, but they get decidedly smaller here. Because for whatever size you talk about Rashard Lewis, he may be close to 6'9". Jason Capel may be 6'7", but you're playing against 6'11" Nowitzki that can get it, that can move, and Matt Nielsen, who's about 6'7", and can play with him. So this will be interesting.
And Don Showalter's already going with the two-point guard look with both Barkley and Curry on the floor, his two smallest players.
Well, this is a case where you can bring Ronald Curry off a pick, but it's also a chance to put some pressure.
Barkley blowing right by Lowers, and Lowers just grabbed him for the foul. Both teams are going to be shooting the rest of the way. Both teams in the bonus, and it's a 6-point lead. This is now the largest margin of the game for the world team.
Eric Barkley, his hero, Kenny Anderson. He likes Kenny Anderson's game. You know, to a great degree, you could see he has a little bit of that kind of New York flair with him.
Fran Fraschilla really doing an outstanding job getting Ron Artest, getting Barkley in the hunt for Harrington. Finally got Lopez and Hamilton to the NCAA tournament this year, but they only lasted one round.
Yeah, those guys had really struggled through all of their career, and Lopez taking a lot of heat early. And it was good to see the young man just get through it all. And I'm sure in his life he'll be a lot better off having just endured the media pressure from New York.
Nielsen and Nowitzki helping out with the ball handling again. What an advantage that gives them. Jumper is short. Rebound underneath by Scola to put it back up and in.
Yeah, Scola goes tough to the hole.
Barkley strong to the bucket at the other end and a foul. And it's Scola whistled for the call. Now, one of the boosts that the world team is getting is from their assistant coach, Donnie Nelson, the assistant coach of the Dallas Mavericks. And you tell me he is incredibly involved in international basketball all year round.
Donnie's been involved for years. He's going to be the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks as soon as his father steps aside. Don was involved with the Lithuanian team many years ago. I want to say about 5 or 6 years ago. Matter of fact, a little longer than that. When it was 6 years ago, clearly, when they were involved in the Olympics. And at that point, Sharunas Marciulionis was a part of that team. And since then, Don Nelson may spend 6 or 7 weeks in the summer looking at the international talent.
Gives them a leg up to try to get international players. They've already got one of Chris Anstey, the Australian you talked about before. Good work underneath. Eric Barkley puts it back up and in, and it's a 4-point game, 10 for Barkley.
That's why you have the 2-point guards you mentioned, because you can get much more active defensive pressure. He traveled. Oh, he did. He traveled. And they gave him for the hole, but there's no question he walked.
Brad doesn't like it at all.
This is a slightly partisan crowd here.
The officials, by the way, one is American, including that's the one who just made that call, and the other is Canadian.
You can just look. Watch, he takes the other foot. See him step through now?
Yep.
That's a travel. I mean, think about these guys. Coach Norwalk, is feeling bad about that call. But the international players, most of them are catching flights going back home by about 4:30, 5 o'clock Central Time, headed back in the other direction. Then you have the U.S. players, many of whom have to get back to school and worry about schoolwork.
One thing that they all did together, they went out for lunch together yesterday as Ronald Curry has fouled out for the United States, and that could be a big factor down the stretch. And then both teams went to the semifinals, so the Final Four yesterday. They also, the international players, were taken by Donnie Nelson to a couple of Dallas Mavericks games during the week, got into the locker room, so they've had a big time here.
Yeah, they really have. They deserve a good experience. They've worked hard to get where they are now. He's trying to say the ball is wet. That shows you how much pressure is being put on them. When you worry about if the ball is wet, that means they're putting a lot of pressure on you. And Eric Barkley is a little ticked off he hadn't played more minutes, so he's been very aggressive.
He's going to play the rest of the way with Curry fouling out. so far, Sandro Gamba has resisted putting a second point guard in there to help the ball handler. Comfortable that his big guys can help Flowers out. So far, they've done a pretty good job.
Yeah, well, his point guards cannot handle the pressure of the USA point guards.
Nowitzki. And battling underneath, Scola comes up with it, trying to find the hoop.
How can that be 3 seconds? It can't be 3 seconds if there's no control.
Nobody just had the ball.
And that's what he said. Yeah. Nobody had the ball.
3 seconds.
Gamba with a case. Barkley at the other end, and it's a 3-point game. Could prove to be a big call.
Yeah, you had the right idea, because you can't have 3 seconds without any particular person having possession.
Nielsen cutting is fouled by Pike. And don't think there's no intensity in this game. A lot of the players compared it to the McDonald's All-American game. This is a game right from the start, Quinn. We saw intensity and good defense and a very hard-fought contest.
That's some national pride here. The international group takes theirs as a because they're playing not only for their nation, they're playing for the international community. And for that, they are very proud.
Trying to show that the rest of the world is starting to narrow the gap on the United States, and I think we saw the best evidence of that in Australia, the 22 and under team we talked about. Matt Nielsen, a member of that.
Hey, Dan, it's been happening for some time, and I'll tell you why. One of the reasons that there's open competition was it wasn't something the U.S. wanted, but in an effort to try to get everybody to improve, they figure if you play against the best, then you have a chance for the balance to get the best, and it's starting to show up as you see more international players on collegiate teams and then coming to the NBA.
Look at the Final Four. Hano Medela from Utah, Okalaja and Jai from North Carolina. There are more and more international players playing key roles on top-flight Division I teams.
Yeah, so you've got to have the skill set to be able to do that.
Barkley back to the line. USA down 5, 4:21 to play. It's Barkley, Jerron Rush, Al Harrington, Dane Fife, and Jason Capel on the floor for the United States. The world getting to the line way more often than the United States, and Nowitzki from Germany, the biggest reason for that, he's got another rebound.
You know, you looked at that Indiana, North Carolina, or any good team statistic, the world has shot more free throws than the USA team has even taken. And that's the world has made 30.
More,
yeah, they've made 30 to the U.S. only to have taken 25.
And they're going back to the line again. Michelori, who just came on after Gazurek was injured.
Coach Gamble was saving it. Giving him some good energy.
Yeah. Here comes Kevin Lyde back into the game for the United States for Harrington.
This is a good substitution because Harrington's tired. Because he's the biggest guy on the floor, he's got to guard at some time Nowitzki, but he's got to go get rebounds, and all of a sudden you notice his scoring had started. That's why you haven't seen him score.
He has shown everybody here why he's considered perhaps the top high school player in the country.
I'll tell you, he can score in bunches.
Yeah. Michelori missed them both. Another rebound for Nowitzki, his 11th of the game. He's got 27 points, and he's going back to the line.
Big fella's been busy.
Jerron Rush picks up his 4th. Is it a question of the world team being more physical or just being more active?
They've got size, and what happened has been that for the most part, the U.S. started out taking advantage of their speed, but didn't continue to do that. Couldn't keep maintaining the pressure, and to Coach Gamba's credit, he never let his team fold.
You wonder, though, if fatigue is starting to set in. The world team has just missed 4 straight free throws. Here's Rush. He's gone to the basket very aggressively here in this game, and a foul on Michelori. Just under 4 minutes to play. A rush to the line, try to cut into a 4-point gap.
This is why I think the U.S. needs to try to get most of their points. I mean, it's 4 minutes, so you got much time. But I think they got to get to the line. Struggled a little bit from the field, but 7 rebounds. He's an all-around kind of player. Doesn't really remind me of necessarily anybody, except if you look at his stats, he's made a contribution.
Brings him back within 2. He's got a timeout on the floor with 3:58 left in the game. Sandro Gamba and the international team try to make it a picture-perfect afternoon.
Typical car insurance agent is on the job during regular business hours. On the other hand, Geico insurance professionals are on the job 24 hours a day. Geico, a 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Oh, I didn't want mail.
You don't have to sacrifice service to save money. Geico, a 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
A small-time gambler is about to hit the big time. And everybody wants a piece of the action. Richard Dreyfuss in another real classic, Let It Ride. 9 Eastern tonight on ESPN Classic.
She was destined for greatness when tragedy struck from behind. SportsCenter flashes back 9 years to tell one of sport's darkest stories, the stabbing of Monica Seles.
It robbed the sport of its innocence.
7 Eastern Tuesday on ESPN Classic.
Some folks call it a lawn, some call it a yard, but it's really more than that. It's a piece of your life with a life all its own. Sometimes a playground, sometimes a ball field, always a gathering place. So how do you care for a piece of land that will be in your family a long time, with a piece of equipment that will also be there? Cub Cadet isn't like other tractors. It's better made, and it's dependable and lasts for years. And right now, it's more affordable than ever with 0% financing. Cub Cadet builds its tractors with welded steel frames and cast iron front axles. Most tractors feature the added performance of solid steel drive shafts, and we back them with a 5-year limited warranty. Call today for your free copy of the book, Big Ideas for Big Yards. Find out more about the complete line of Cub Cadets and for the name of a dealer near you. Buy a tractor now and enjoy 0% financing until January 2003. Cub Cadet. It's simply the best tool for your piece of the planet.
You're watching our 7-hour Before They Were Pros marathon, featuring the likes of Kevin Garnett, Antoine Walker, Shane Battier, Dirk Nowitzki, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, and Paul Pierce back in the day, right here on ESPN Classic.
Now, both teams had the opportunity to experience the history of San Antonio and get their feet wet on a boat tour of the Riverwalk. And while the international team took pictures of the Final Four brackets, the USA team came on board looking to make some new friends.
Yeah, that's a pretty good ride. I mean, the whole Riverwalk, the whole experience had to be wonderful, you know, for those guys. For a lot of these guys, you got to remember, some of these guys, as good as players they are, may never see a Final Four again. You know, but there have been some guys who have done that have played here in the Nike Hoop Summit. Michael Bibby, I believe, is one. Yes. Wayne Turner, Ed Cota, Jameson. So all of those guys have done it. So maybe they will. But I'm telling you, it's a tough task to get to this Final Four.
World team leading by 2. It's been a very competitive game. The entire game, USA led most of the first half. World teams led most of the second half. Sangela lost it to Michelore. Nice pass to Nowitzki. Nowitzki has a nose for the bucket, but not this time. Barkley leads the U.S. the other way.
Oh, tough pass to him. Oh, good effort, though.
Capel saved it into the hands of Rush.
Got to Michelore. Over the back, but you can tell by the effort the U.S. is making, they know that they're in a dogfight. Right here, chasing down the pass is Jason Capel with a good effort, gets it back to Rush, who took it to the basket. Well, they give it actually get Capel off the rebound.
Well, you see with the rules allowing the players to go up in the cylinder and get the ball, all 10 guys just crashing the glass.
Though the U.S. is more athletic, if you're tired, you can't replace being tall.
Michelore goes out, and back into the game, the youngest player in the game, 16-year-old Antonios Fotsis from Greece. One more free throw, and Jason Capel will tie this game. St. John's at Prospect Hall, the so-called national champions in U.S. high school basketball, and Cable a huge part of that. One-point lead. His dad looking on.
Exactly.
Interesting what he said. It was tough to watch him as a dad because you can't make him do what you want him to do. As a coach, you can tell him what to do.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, you see the nice take there by Darius is that as a coach, you can't tell your son to go against another coach. So you just have to sit there and kind of take it.
Turnover. And Fotsis is going to have to run this one down. Got it. And it falls in for him.
Yeah, it falls in because he held on to the rim.
Well, it'll count. And suddenly a 5-point lead. A big turnover forced by the world team under 3 minutes to go. Fotsis going for the steal again. Rush for 3. Rebound, Nowitzki, who has to be considered the outstanding player on the floor in this game.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that. He's been the most consistent.
Scola inside, spinning on Lyde, and a travel. Let's go back to Dave Feldman.
Easy. Damn.
Whoa, you could translate that.
2.5 to go in the game. Sandro Gamba into it. And the world team leading by 5.
At Midas, we're known for total car care. Brakes, air conditioning, oil changes. There's almost nothing that we can't do. Impressive. Midas, we do that.
Okay, good news. That broadband thing we all want? Got it figured out. Honey, you call the phone company. Tracy, you're digging the trench, shovels in the garage. I'm going up on the roof to assess satellite possibilities. Jimmy, check out these schematics. Appreciate it. Let's go!
We know how you feel, and that's why Circuit City offers one-stop high-speed internet access. You can find what's available where, compare options, and arrange installation. Circuit City, we're with you.
Oh, we can get broadband at Circuit City.
Keep it cooking up top with the ice cream. The pass to Joseph Troy. Have it counted. The west side is calling timeout. The up-downs are down by 3. With the boogie. Special.
Well, it's 1975, and we just be keeping the ball alive.
When I was a kid, I was lively.
Leading Team USA. You know who's here? It's Holger Geschwender. We heard from him at halftime. He's Dirk Nowitzki's coach. He found Dirk Nowitzki as a 16-year-old in Germany. He was playing tennis. He was playing soccer. He said, man, this guy's growing a lot. I'm going to get him on my team. He got him on his club team. He taught him basketball. They say there are a lot of similarities to Detlef Schrempf.
All right, Dave, thank you. That's not an unfamiliar story. A European or a South American kid plays soccer, grows rapidly, and all of a sudden they suggest basketball. And because of the soccer background, I know you feel that the footwork and the defense could be a little bit better sometimes.
I don't think there's any doubt about it, because soccer is about getting your opponent off balance, maintaining yours with your feet. And that's what these guys bring. Hakeem Olajuwon, most noted as Nowitzki. Oh, are they going to count this too?
World team wants the bucket counted. It is a block. Again, Nowitzki not shying away from the contact at all.
No, he's going to take it. Does that Fife get there?
Foul on the floor. One more look. Full speed.
Well, I'll tell you what. I probably a pretty good call, because it looked like Fife slid over there at the end.
And 2 more shots for Nowitzki. His time is now definitely a factor given this lead for the world team play.
Yeah, you look at Nowitzki, you see 14 from 16 on the line. That's impressive for a big man. So you got to like it. That's his coach, who played on the 72 Olympic team and had a shot they thought to go to the NBA. Right from there, chose not to. Some think he may be living his NBA career through Dirk Nowitzki.
Swing play at the other end. Barkley finding Rush to get the lead back down to 5. And a turnover. Nielsen threw it away. Capel and Nielsen collide, no call, and the world team takes over.
Nowitzki went all the way, and he tried to take the charge. Yeah, he tried to make that play.
That's something NBA scouts love to see, a guy who seeks out the contact.
He sure did, and on that play, that's exactly what he does. I mean, Capel gets it, and it's Nielsen, who also has been a part of it. No call there. Let them play. They come back the other way. My boy Darius gets it to Nowitzki. Then watch him. See, he leaned in.
Sure.
Put that left shoulder in. I'd call that an offensive foul.
It went on Harrington. 2 more free throws for Nowitzki. 30 points on the day.
He's made his point. He's young.
Remember, he was the guy who had to get the special permission to leave Germany, leave his club team, leave his military responsibilities to come over here. He's made the most of it.
Yeah, you already said it. You're in the national service. You're not allowed to leave the country. They let him leave it.
7-point lead, 1:20 to play. The United States has gone full from outside, 4 of 18 from 3-point range. It's getting physical.
Big fella. That should be USA ball. He was feeling it. The big fella standing out there feeling it.
Yep. For the United States, Capel, Barkley, Rush, Harrington, and Fife needing offense in a hurry.
Other thing we got to take into consideration. The rules may be more in the favor, if you will, of the world team, because they play by them all the time. Right. The FIBA rules, which are what we play them by, as you see Jerron Rush go down again.
He's had more trouble than anybody right in the paint. He keeps making those aggressive moves, and he keeps slipping.
Watch, he's trying to come to a hard stop. And you can see he never is able to get that foot to catch up with him. He does a nice little slide in the second. And in case you're the shortstop, I've got that spike up.
That's right.
You know about that baseball.
Yeah. Rush hits the first to get it down to a 6-point deficit. A world win would even the series at 2 apiece. This is the 4th annual Nike Hoop Summit. Maybe Nowitzki said it best. He said, I don't want to go back to Germany and hear about losing to the Americans. This game gets big press in the 11 countries represented by the world team. And a foul. Nielsen's going to go to the line.
Yeah, I don't think they really want to foul him there. You're right, it does get big press, and Nielsen, that's why I was talking about Rush, didn't want to foul him, but Nielsen gets to step up. He's a pro, if you will, having played professionally already in Australia. Jerron Rush fouls out. Now 3 of the USA stars have fouled out, going to Ray Young.
Let's check in with Dave.
Well, you know, we talked to Matthew Nielsen about getting along with so many players from so many different countries. And he said most of the guys seem like good guys, but if they're not, it's no big deal. I don't understand most of them.
Oh, he was funny. He said they don't even understand English, so they may be a great guy, but they don't speak English, so what do I know?
Well, English has been the language of the team out of necessity, and obviously Nielsen's got no problem, but Fotsis from Greece has some trouble, and we saw at halftime, Gamba, the coach from Italy, just trying to make himself understood. Fife with a 3-pointer that misses. Good block out there by Fotsis.
Oh, it's all sides, and it all favors now the world team.
Under a minute to play, and the world team with its largest lead of the afternoon by 7.
A little contact going on inside. They're telling both Matt Nielsen, Dane Fife to lay off of it.
More than anything, Quinn, you have to respect the effort both teams have made. They didn't come here to dunk on each other. They came here to win.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Tried to throw the ball in off of Young. He misses it. Eric Barkley puts it back in.
And draws the foul. Big play.
That play might work if the guy's got his back turned to you, but if he's looking at you trying to throw it off of him, what you can do is you can, if he throws it at your body, you may be able to deaden yourself a little bit by either, you know, sucking your stomach in, which I think he did that time, so the ball has no real place to bounce back.
Eric Barkley out of New York putting together a big afternoon, especially after Ron Curry fouled out. Barkley's now got 15.
What's that thing?
I think the referees...
Number 11, when he's saving the ball in the corner. Oh, okay.
Gamba looking for an explanation. We'll step aside with 41 seconds to play. And the USA trying to cut into a 5-point gap.
7 Eastern, right here on ESPN Classic.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Eric Barkley misses the free throw. Harrington runs it down, but it's knocked out of bounds off Harrington. And it's whirled the ball. In that last time out, Sandro Gamba started things, and by the end it was Matt Nielsen from Australia who was kind of running the huddle, trying to shout some instructions to make himself understood. And now a foul on Dane Fife of the United States.
Does he foul out of the game as well?
I think he does, and he is the 4th player to foul out for the USA.
See, one of the things you have to take into consideration, even though at international competition, you don't play, if you will, college basketball. They play a lot of club basketball, and a lot of times against older players, older, wiser players, and those little wily tricks they're able to pull. Matt Nielsen was running the timeout. That time he ran Dane Fife out with his 5th.
Many of these players play for their respective national teams or in their country's first divisions and have been doing so since 17 or 18 years of age. Came a long way, but it looks like they're going to leave with a win.
Boy, and it'd be a good one for them to have.
A number of them play high school or prep ball here in the USA, and 3 of them have committed to Division I programs for this coming September. Harrington with a nice stop-and-go move draws the contact.
Yeah, stop-and-go on Nowitzki. He can't guard Harrington.
This final 33, 34 seconds are going to go awfully slowly for that world bench.
Yeah, they'd like the clock just to run out. Remember, they lost Dan Grzuric, who started by a bad back, sitting on the bench. Sitting right there. 6'11", athletic guy with a chronic back problem. Chronic back. Just went out. I mean, he literally was almost walking. I looked at him. He was walking across the lane. Was just about to start into a jog and just stopped.
Harrington missed both. Nowitzki, another rebound. Lowers almost turned it over. And Fotsis, good composure to just hang on and wait for the foul to come. And now some frustration on the part of Al Harrington as he just throws the ball the length of the court. Timeout called by the world team with 25.7 seconds to play, and the world team can sense it now. States early, Quinn, of course, turnover after turnover, and it got dunk after dunk, and it looked like they might run the world team out of the gym. And then midway through the first half, you said to me, you know, the USA team looks pretty good, but they're only up 3.
Oh, yeah, that's why I said it to you, because what I knew is, let's see what Coach Showoff has set up here first.
We got Q here. We got Ray right here. Jason on the ball out back. You're in the middle. Try and get it trapped in this corner right here. If we don't get the ball in the inbounds pass, we don't get the trap, get a quick foul. We got to put them at the line. Get the ball down the floor, and they can drive easily because basket and foul. Hey, look, be mobile.
That's one thing, maybe, to put the guy to stop the outlet pass because they make a quick outlet pass.
Hey, come on. Look for the trees. Be active, but don't jump on the fake. Jump. Stay low. Hands up. Because they can drive, make, and foul. No, nothing. Let's go.
Right there. Let's go.
Hey.
And Gamba making himself understood. He does not want anybody getting up in the air and picking up fouls and allowing the USA to score and then get to the line as well.
Yeah, don't go for the shot fake is what he's saying. Because you go for the shot fake and the U.S. goes up, knocks the shot down, and then you foul them. That's a potentially 4-point play. But you're right. Nielsen, the veteran, was really running that. I mean, you could just look at the intensity in his eyes. It's important for him, as well as Gamble, to try to win this.
He's the captain of this team and the only player in this game who played in it last year when the United States won. Fotsis missed 2 free throws. Barkley pulls up, 3-pointer. USA gets it back. Quentin Richardson bouncing around to Nowitzki, and he's hammered.
Take a step first.
And that should just about do it. The USA had 2 looks at a 3. Had one of them gone down, it might have been a different story.
Think about this. These kids come all the way from around the world to play in a game in the U.S. against the U.S. All-Stars and beat them. You don't think that's a big deal for them? It's huge.
Overcoming obstacles like being able to understand one another. And the USA players were only together for a couple of days. The world players were together for about 6 days. But the USA players have played with and against one another in summer camps, in all-star leagues. Now 5 players have fouled out as Eric Barkley sits down.
Nowitzki of Germany at the line.
I'm sure Eric Barkley, as well as the balance there who fouled out, will understand that key word, discipline. Discipline yourself, move your feet, keep yourself in the game longer.
Dirk Nowitzki, 32 points. Look at the work at the free throw line.
Oh, yeoman's work. 22 foul shots. First of all, 23 now. That is a load of foul shots.
And the team has shot 60. They're up 8. And time running out on Team USA. Ray Young with a 3-pointer. But that is going to do it. The world team is going to even up the series at 2 wins apiece with a physical and entertaining 104-99 win, surprising the host USA team. Dirk Nowitzki from Germany and Matthew Nielsen from Australia. In addition to the little point guard in the first half, Dimitri Lauwers from Belgium, who really helped them out. The biggest reasons that the world team was able to win here today.
I think you hit on the point. Dimitri Lauwers was a big part of that, because all of a sudden, after the U.S. got out like 8-2 and getting 3 steals, Nowitzki was able to get back into a little bit of a flow. Then I thought Coach Showalter wanted his team to do something they weren't able to do. Block out, get to the glass. They weren't able to do it. Already at halftime, it was clear that the size that we talked about at the top of the world team was going to be of much advantage against the U.S. team.
And remember, you're going to see a lot of these guys in U.S. colleges, maybe a couple of them in the NBA next season. Let's go to Dave Feldman, who's standing by with the star of the afternoon.
No question, Dan. This guy is a guy we could see in the NBA. 31 points, 13 boards for Dirk Nowitzki. It was a physical game, and you guys pulled it out.
Yeah, of course. We knew that it would be physical because we came over here, and we knew the Americans. We saw them on the McDonald's game, and we knew they play physical, and we did the same, and we won.
I talked to some of the players on your team before the game. They said when you wear the country jersey in the world and the U.S., there was really something to prove. U.S. has the rep as being the young guys and the best basketball, and you had something you wanted to show against them.
Yeah, of course. The Americans, are the best basketball players in the world, so we wanted to show that we can play in the world. We can play basketball too. So we came here to play hard, and we did it.
Your coach Holger came all the way from Germany to watch it. He found you when you were 16. He said you were playing tennis and soccer. I guess you're glad he's here and that you stuck with basketball.
Yeah, my father was my handball coach, and when Holger came and said he has to play basketball, he said, oh, no. But, I went to practice, and I liked it, and then I played basketball.
We're going to see you back here in the NBA, maybe another Detlef Shrimp someday?
Oh, I hope so. I don't know yet.
Thanks. Congratulations.
No, thank you.
Dan, the star of the game, no question.
Dave, thank you very much. 33 points.